to the Nightly News Podcast. This is Professor Paul Miller, and I am so honored to be joined by the Executive Director of the Education Foundation, Sandy Box, and the Education Foundation and Alumni Support Coordinator, MaryBeth Fisher. Sandy, it's always my pleasure to have you on the show, and so nice to have you back.
Thank you very much. I always love coming in to do this twice a year.
Well, and we would most certainly have you in more frequently, but this is certainly one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the Education Foundation Scholarship Application, which is going to be open during the month of February. So we're really just here promoting and letting our students know about this important initiative so they can, get a little free money toward their education.
Free money's good. Free money's good, for sure.
And MaryBeth, welcome back to the program. We're always happy to have you along as well and appreciate learning some more about some of the alumni opportunities for alumni engagement.
Thank you for having me back.
Always our pleasure. And, of course, we're also being joined by the Nightly News Secretary, Alexa Sugard. Alexa, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, of course, it's always our pleasure to have you as well. So Alexa is in her final year and is looking around for some different internship opportunities. And so we are going to continue to promote Alexa during her final few terms here at the college. But it's easy to go right into this here. And Alexa, I can kind of start with you. One of the things that I hear frequently from students is the need that they have to work or to take different avenues for paying for your education. And again, you don't have to go into a lot of detail, but I know that you work quite a bit. And I'm sure that a part of that is because of your education, whether it be just paying for books or gas to get to campus, all of those types of things. To what extent does the fact that you have to work maybe take away from some of the opportunities that you might have?
I think sometimes it's really hard to balance yourself. You want to make time for your job that actually pays you, but you also want to help do things that will eventually pay for your education. And that's why I like applying for the scholarships, because it's money given to you and you don't really have to do much except write your essay. And I think that's a great prize, the money you're getting towards your education. And like I said, you don't really have to do much, but you do have to put in that hard work. You have to formulate a great essay, but you have so much sources on campus that help you do that great essay that it's not hard to apply for these scholarships. And in the long run, they help you. Not only do they help you pay for your schooling, but also it shows, like you said, I'm getting ready to graduate. I'm looking for my internships. From doing this, I'm able to put 2 scholarships on my resume that I was awarded, and that comes with hard work. So I definitely feel it can be tricky to balance it, but in the long run, this is only going to benefit you more by applying yourself and applying your education that you've learned here at the college.
Alexa, such a great point. In addition to the financial component of it, there is also a recognition component of it. I mean, even though here at Central Penn, we do have a high percentage of students who do receive these scholarships, the fact that you are awarded these scholarships says something about your character as well. It's something you can put on a resume. It's something you can put in your portfolio. And it's something that, it gives you some of that recognition, because if you're going into an employer and they see that you've been nominated or have received scholarship dollars, that's going to be important to them. And so that was a very good point there, Alexa.
Yeah, I just think that it shows when you sit down to have an interview for an internship or a potential job, that shows that you took the time out of your day between, and especially with me working 40 hours, still going to school, it shows that I was able to take that time to apply, whereas I could have just let it go and not even applied myself to the scholarship foundation, but I did. And like you said, that just shows that you're willing to be successful in the work that you do. So.
And in addition to that, I also want to point out that in addition to working all of these hours and maintaining a dean's list, you also do some volunteer work at the Bosler Library as well. Feel free to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Bosler Library is actually the library in my hometown of Carlisle.
That's one thing her and I have in common here.
Yeah.
I'm also a lifelong, up until about the past 5 years, Carlisle resident and graduated from Carlisle High School.
Yeah. So working with Bosler came more of like a decision because I wanted to give back to them, because I have a lot of memories of being there when I was a kid. Me and my mom would go and rent books, movies, all those types of things. And I really wanted to give back to them because they've definitely been a big part of my life and living in Carlisle. So I decided to work with them as part of a project last term that I did, and it really went successful. But even after that class ended, I'm still volunteering there all the time. I try and get in about once a week, and that's another thing that relates to what you can put on your resume as you try and go through the process of getting an internship or getting a job. That's just something that shows I'm dedicated to the field in which I work in, and want to just prove how successful you can be if you're taking time to volunteer. And it doesn't even have to be with a library, but just anywhere that you can show your support is, and I think that's a really big part that I learned. I wasn't really too big on it before I started college, but during college I realized it is a very big part of your career. So.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm so glad to hear that you've stayed on board even after the project was over. Kudos to you, Alexa.
Thank you.
Well, let's bring it forward here, Sandy. So last time we had you on, we kind of recapped the golf tournament. Lots of big things going on in the foundation office. Just earlier today, we were talking about an initiative working with the athletics department. Please tell us a little bit more about that before we get into the scholarship application.
Okay. Well, first off, let me just say, I met Alexa, I think it was her first week here. So I can't believe that she's almost at the end of her educational journey. Yeah,
Tell me about it.
That is impressive. And you are absolutely right on the points that you made with regard to the scholarship and what it does mean on a resume or to an employer. So very good job. But, okay, so back to athletics. Throughout 2021 and to get ready for 2022, the Education Foundation decided that and investigated whether or not we could expand our scope of services that we were able to provide to Central Penn College students. Normally, we just do scholarships, but what we have now decided is we're going to expand it to educational opportunities, educational programming, so different things that can help students besides the scholarships. So one of the first projects that we're doing is the opportunities on deck. And so we are working with the athletic department to raise, to raise funds to support our student athletes and making it easy through Give Butter to go on, make a donation. It's all tax deductible contribution. It comes back through the foundation. And then we'll be able to assist the athletes in getting the, uniforms or equipment that they need to be able to do the job that they have signed up to do.
One of the really interesting things about this too, Sandy, is the fact that I would say over the past maybe 6 months or so, in some of the discussions that we've had around the college, one of the things that our institutional leaders here have talked about is really helping to bolster and enhance the athletic experience here at Central Penn and sort of doubling down, whereas unfortunately throughout the pandemic, some institutions have gotten rid of certain extracurricular activities, namely athletics, and Dr. Fadrizi, in a discussion with the entire campus, said about how committed that not only herself but the institution was. And this is just another example of that. Right. So just really quick to give sort of a little shout out.
Yes.
You can go to givebutter.com/CPC-DEC to be a part of this Opportunity on Deck initiative. That is something that is the foundation is using to help bring about some increased not only awareness funds for our student athletes, which is such an important piece of education. Really just being involved in extracurricular activities is a very important piece of the foundational education that we're offering here, and athletics is certainly one of those.
Absolutely, because you demonstrate teamwork, leadership, management, time management, because you're able to do your practices, plus you're able to do your educational requirements. So, right, it just enhances the experience, I think, for students. And so that's what the Education Foundation was created for, which is to enhance the opportunities for our students. And so we're just continuing to help that grow.
One last piece on this, it's come from, I do a lot of work with Steve in Career Services, and I have a lot of opportunity to hopefully sort of be that bridge for a lot of our students from school to internship to their first career position. One of the things that I constantly hear from people who are hiring out in the community is the importance of athletics, to your point, developing those teamwork skills, developing those time management skills. So again, it's awesome to hear that you are continuing to support the athletics here at Central Penn. And as we mentioned in a previous episode, our Central Penn Knights baseball team will be playing 8 games at FNB Field, the home of the Harrisburg Senators.
Yeah.
And I will get to broadcast them. I'm so excited to get to do that. It's going to be like a little dream come true for old Mr. Miller here. All right. Well, as we move forward to the second half of our show here, I want to talk more about the Education Foundation Scholarship application. And this is going to be open throughout the month of February. When is the last date that people can submit their application?
Okay, Friday, February the 25th.
So you basically have the entire month of February up until that last Friday in February, the 25th. Now, to do so, you simply have to go to foundation.centralpenn.edu. It'll ask you for some information. It'll ask you for your most recent GPA, your anticipated graduation date, and what level you are. But what it'll also ask you, and 2 important things that every single time that we talk about, first of all, the question. So the question this time around is discuss an event, accomplishment, or period in your life that changed you as a person and led to personal growth. So a lot to sort of unpack there.
Right.
But what you're really asking for is tell me about something that was influential, inspirational to you in making you the person you are today. That could have been one moment in time. That could have been something that you did. That could have been maybe a difficult period of your life that you went through. Now, let me ask you, Sandy, if you were doing this, if you were a student filling out answering this particular question, tell me about an event, accomplishment, or period in your life that changed you as a person.
Well, I'm going to have to go with the negative part, I have to say. I think it was in my senior year when my father was diagnosed with cancer and hospitalized for a long time. I realized that I didn't have the freedom or the ability to go to college. So I started working full time and poured myself into that avenue. But, so it's one of those things where it was just that one thing that he got diagnosed with something that was life-changing to me. And so at that point in time, I decided that, I had to focus, I had to help my family. And so I had to put my needs aside and did what was best for my family at that point in time. And then later on had the ability to go back and, take some classes, get different trainings. And so it made a difference because it made me stronger. And I was able to identify, and now I'm good or bad. I take things not as a crisis. I take them for what they're worth, figure out how I'm going to solve the problem, how I'm going to move forward, how I'm going to make it better.
And now look at you. You're an executive director of an organization that literally changes people's lives.
Right.
So even having to overcome something like that has also helped you build character as well, right?
It has. So between that and then I worked in mental health for 10 years. And again, puts things in perspective as to what's a crisis, what you can deal with, when things happen, a lot of times immediately they're a crisis. But if you take a step back, you think about it, you can make a difference. And so I'm going to relate that back to education. A lot of times students get to a point that they are at a crossroads. They cannot afford to stay in school, but they don't want to leave. That's when you have to reach out and take the opportunities that are available for you, whether that's a scholarship application, whether it's an internship opportunity, whether it's talking with somebody to say, okay, help me through this situation. Don't make the knee-jerk reaction and go, well, I can't, I have to walk away. There's always an opportunity and there's always an option. So
Alexa, you're going to have to answer this question.
Yes.
Because I do ask that my students do this as an assignment.
Right.
So again, maybe this is even the first time you're looking at this question, but tell me about an event, accomplishment, or period in your life that changed you as a person.
When I was 15, so I would have been a sophomore in high school, my mom and dad had my brother, so we're 15 years apart. He was planned because we get that question a lot, but he is definitely planned. But they both worked night shift jobs. So from the time that he was 2 weeks old, every night I would basically babysit him. I'd get up every time he cried. Like, basically I was helping to raise him every night. But then by the time like I'd lay down, it'd be time to get up and go to school. So I think that like from a young age of like kind of having to help out in the family, that was really hard because there were some times where I wouldn't pay attention in school because I would be tired or just like I wasn't getting proper sleep and I wasn't focusing a lot on the stuff that I had to do. But I wouldn't say that's negative in a way because eventually like I looked at it and I was like, okay, my grades haven't been the best. What can I do better? And that's when those time management skills came into play, and also just learn, like, I wouldn't change that experience just because, you know, I spent so much time with my brother and really connected with him, which can be a difficult thing when you're 15 years apart. And so basically helping to raise him and care for him, I really learned that, you know, that was an important part of my life, but I didn't want it to disrupt how I did education-wise. And so I just began to, you know, stress the importance of basically managing my time in a good way that I, you know, wouldn't keep getting bad grades. And I was successful in doing that because afterwards, after it took a good bit of time, but afterwards I did pretty good. And it really helped me even now in college with, you know, going back to the fact that I do work a lot and I try and volunteer and I still try and make time for my family. All those skills that I learned at 15 are being applied today, and I learned them I feel I learned them faster than other people did.
And
so.
I must say that I had the fine opportunity to meet your mother on a couple of different occasions, and she is so proud of you. It is unbelievable how much she is just so proud. I mean, gushing over how proud she is of you. So obviously you've made a good impression. Yeah. MaryBeth, tell us something about a situation in your life that changed you as a person.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me. I would think having the opportunity to go back and receive my bachelor degree and now my master degree.
Which, by the way, aren't you finished?
I'll be finished this term.
This term is it. So we are congratulating MaryBeth on getting her master's degree here at Central Penn College. Yeah. More power to you for doing so. I know that we've been talking about it because I'm also in school too, and we've commiserated together over these types of things. But honestly, like, you are in some way representative of a lot of the students that we have here.
Exactly.
Going back to school, maybe they went to school at a younger age and for whatever reason, maybe had family things coming up or whatever, wide variety of reasons. But so in some way, in that way, you're somewhat representative of a lot of our students here. And I think that that's very valuable, not only to your, you know, your home life and your experiences of getting this education, but also how you can relate to our students as well.
I, too, went back for my bachelor's when my oldest son started as a freshman at Temple. So
you guys were both freshmen at the same time.
And we would compete on grades, and he would tell me, Mom, you don't know what it's like. I'm like, oh, time out. I was working full-time, traveling, going to school 9 credits a semester, and had another child at home yet, and still managed.
Well, that all being said, there were just 3 examples of how you could approach this question. Again, if you're listening, discuss an event, accomplishment, or period in your life that changed you as a person and led to personal growth. So I challenge you to do a little brainstorming and think about that. Sandy, one more thing that I would be remiss if I did not mention, and that is the Donald B. and Dorothy L. Stabler Foundation. One of the areas on the application is a checkbox. And I just want to, and I don't want to steal your thunder, please feel free to add to this. I just want everybody to know, for example, every time that we go through this process, we find an unbelievable student who just doesn't check this box.
Right.
And that honestly kind of prohibits them from getting maybe the maximum scholarship award. So I just want to point out, anyone who's listening, when you see the Stabler Foundation checkbox, please understand that it is a moral and as it says here, a debt of conscience, not a legal obligation, in that if you check the box, the whole purpose is pay it forward. When
Correct.
you're done here, maybe, give us $500, just to help that next person because you were helped. But by that same token, if a couple years out you haven't, done that, Sandy is not going to come knocking on your door.
No.
She's not going to call you on the phone. She's not going to send you a nasty email. It really is just sort of that moral obligation.
Right.
So did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, really, that is what it is. It is a moral obligation. I do send out annually a reminder that you received this scholarship, and would you please consider paying it forward? And it doesn't have to be a lump sum. I've had people that set it up on $25 a month for 2-3 years till they paid off what they felt was their moral obligation. So it's not like I'm waiting for a check for $1,000 or $2,000. You want to give 25? Give 25. You want to give another 25 in 6 months or a year? Fine. It still keeps going back, and I keep track of everyone who pays back. And so if they, I send them a letter saying thank you so much, and then I am able to notify the Stabler Foundation that, I have 10 students who have started to pay it back. I have 15 students. I have one who paid in full. And then I try and do things throughout the year. So even if we have the True Chords coming up, and so if you're graduating and you participate in that, I automatically go back through and see whether or not you were a Stabler Scholarship recipient. And if you were, I start fulfilling your moral obligation with that donation.
There you go.
So,
well, really quick, before we run out of time here, I wanted to afford MaryBeth an opportunity to talk a little bit more. So over the years, you've kind of transitioned. You're still a part of the Education Foundation, but you're also the Alumni Support Coordinator. So tell us, what are some things coming up that alumni can get involved with?
We're excited to say we're back on. We're back this year. No more cancellations. No more, sorry, you were not doing anything. So with that, Saturday night, we were at the Hershey Bear hockey game, which was sold out. So we had about 24 alumni and their friends and family attend. So that was great. We now have scheduled for the Harrisburg Senators this summer, the Barnstormers in Lancaster. We're doing a day trip to Washington, D.C.
Before you go too far, keep in mind one of our most illustrious
at
alumni
Barnstormers, that's right.
is now one of the on-field entertainers, Brian Christiana. He had us down over the summer. It was awesome.
Right. And we're doing New York City, as we do annually, the first Saturday in December. This year, we're starting extended travel. Our trip this year is in November, and we're going to Iceland.
And I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
So much. It is sold out. We have
Wow.
46 people going to Iceland and a wait list.
That's incredible.
But if you choose not to have to be on our wait list, we have an opportunity for you to be among the first to receive the information, which is a new level of membership called Sword and Shield. It's $4 a month, which is less than your Netflix subscription. And the money we collect helps support the efforts of the Alumni Council, both for the current students, alumni, and on campus. Like this summer, we bought new pool furniture for the outdoor pool. So those are just some of the things we do with the money we collect.
Let me ask you, did you ever imagine that would sell out?
Yes.
Really? Okay. No, I don't mean to downplay
No,
it.
I know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, as always, I will put the information on the website. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you about any of the alumni events, but you can always keep an eye out on the pendulum. You can always reach out to MaryBeth if you've got any specific questions, and I'm sure that she would be glad to, keep you involved as an alumni here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Watch those emails too.
Well, I wish we could just sit here all day and keep chatting because this is always so much
I
fun.
agree.
But unfortunately, our time is coming to a close. So I just wanted to make one final plug here. Please go, as a student, to foundation.centralpenn.edu before February the 25th, and please fill out these scholarship application. In previous terms, over 80% of applicants received some form of scholarship. And again, if you think that maybe you're not sure if you're eligible or anything, please reach out to Sandy Box at her email, and she would be happy to make sure that you've got all the information you need. Also, consider going to the Learning Center. Consider asking a professor or asking, somebody who you have a good rapport with to make sure that the work that you're turning in is good, because it is evaluated. So the better your piece, the more money that you could potentially win.
Right. And I would just like to remind everybody, when you hit the submit button, make certain that it has been accepted. We've had some issues in the past where whether or not somebody's on a different type of piece of technology or whatever, and it doesn't go through, and then those students come to me later on and go, I submitted it and I don't have it. So just to make certain that when you hit the submit button, make sure that you get the response back that says your application has been accepted. And if it has not been, if you get an error or you don't get that message, please reach out to me. I am located in ATEC 307, or send me an email or just stop by or catch me somewhere.
You're not a tough person to find.
No, I'm not a tough person to find.
One last thing. We do have a date for the golf tournament.
We do. August the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
August
Yes.
12th. So not
Yes.
the 13th of this year.
No, not Friday the 13th,
not
but
Friday
Friday
the
the 12th.
Friday, save the date, Friday the 12th for the Education Foundation Golf Tournament
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Well, as always, it is such a pleasure to have all of you on. So I just wanted to thank you so much for your time, Sandy, for joining us today.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. This is one of the things that I look forward to twice a year.
Well, I'm glad. We'll have you back more.
Okay.
And MaryBeth, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paul.
And as always, Alexa, thank you so much for being a part of the Nightly News.
Yep, thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Nightly News Podcast. So for the Executive Director of the Education Foundation, Sandy Box, for the Education Foundation and Alumni Support Coordinator, MaryBeth Fisher, and for the Nightly News Secretary, Alexa Sugar, this is Professor Paul Miller, and I'll see you again next time on the Nightly News Podcast.
This is Nightly News reporter Molly Peters with a news brief. The CPEC Job Fair will be taking place on February 15th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Penn Harris Hotel located in Camp Hill just outside of Harrisburg. The CPEC, short for the Central Pennsylvania Employment Consortium, Job Fair will host over 46 employers from all over the mid-state area. These employers will be networking with college students to provide information about internships, job opportunities, and volunteer opportunities. For someone close to the end of their degree, this job fair is very beneficial as you can potentially gain knowledge on internships in the area to aid the completion of your degree, land job placement, or even just network yourself to potential employers. For someone who is just beginning your degree, this event is still very beneficial as there will be part-time employment opportunities, volunteer opportunities, and the opportunity to introduce yourself to people you could potentially work with in the future. Steve Hassinger, Dean of Career Services and Development, said that for any students who are interested in attending the event, Career Services will be providing transportation if you contact them. Students are encouraged to dress in professional attire and bring resumes to hand out to the employers. The CPEC Job Fair also has a mobile app available for download. If you search CPEC Job Fair in your mobile device app store, you can download the app. The app is a great tool to use to help navigate your way through the fair. There is information regarding the companies who will be there, which is beneficial to anyone interested in going, as you can research said companies prior to the event. In addition, the app will also stay live once the event has concluded, so you can access contact information for any of the people you reached out to at the event to follow up with them. Along with these benefits of this app, there is also a tab in which it offers tips into preparing. It gives professional career advice and insights so that you feel more comfortable making connections at the event. If you are in need of business attire or are seeking help to perfect your resume, you can reach out to Career Services via email at careerservices@centralpenn.edu or stop by the Career Resource Center in room 53 of Bollinger Hall. This has been Nightly News reporter Molly Peters with the News Brief.
This is Nightly News reporter Kevon Davis with a news brief. The Central Penn College baseball team will be playing several games at F&B Field, including their first game there on March 15th. The F&B is the home stadium of the Harrisburg Senators, the AA affiliate of the Washington Nationals. Central Penn College has been able to work out a deal where the baseball team will play 4 home dates with doubleheaders each day at the field. The team will still be playing some of their games in the Net Complex. The Knights baseball team is excited for this experience to play at F&B Field. The tentative dates the Knights will be playing at FNB Field are as followed: March 15th, March 23rd, March 31st, and April 22nd. Casey Hicks, Central Penn's athletic director, said, quote, "I am thrilled about the opportunity to call FNB Field home. A lot of offices and departments helped in making this happen. Teamwork really does make the dream work," end quote. The team will be facing Penn State Hazleton as their first opponent at FNB. The team's record last year was 6-12, so they will be looking to bounce back and have a strong year. For more information, check out centralpennknights.com. For the Nightly News, I am Kevon Davis.
This is Nightly News reporter Sarah Whitmire with the News Brief. Claiming the Castle is an evolving program that was started during the summer 2021 term at Central Penn College for residential students to attend in order to maintain their housing scholarships. This program came as a result of a conversation that Janet Bixler, director of the first-year experience, had with the residential advisor that spoke from their perspective on what they felt like was important for their first-year students to have exposure to when living on campus. The program has been designed to be meaningful. The concept of Claiming the Castle wasn't just to be a program to keep students housing scholarships, it was also meant to have pockets of fun in the process. After getting feedback, there is always the ability for a change moving forward. Bixler has had a vision for Claiming the Castle and what she would like to see students view it to be. Claiming the Castle was started to give the students more of autonomy and responsibility over their communication and actions. The goal is to keep it going, Bixler said when asked about the future vision of Claiming the Castle and what it's going to look like going forward. Janet quotes to say all the activities haven't changed really that much. It's just how it's structured, end quote. Bixler says that each term, Claiming the Castle is the same concept and the content is just the matter of having to accommodate the size of the groups. Bixler went on to say, to quote, "One of the things that I am trying to do is be conscious of time and commitment," end quote. When talking about the future of Claiming the Castle is still ever evolving because it is so new. It is important for students to have their input when it comes to programs like Claiming the Castle so that future students may learn the essential values that are needing to be taught for terms to come. It is encouraged for those that want more information on Claiming the Castle to contact Janet Bixler at janetbixler@centralpenn.edu. For the Nightly News, I am Sarah Whitmire.
This is Nightly News reporter Alexa Sugart with a news brief. The Nightly News Media Club will be hosting a soup sale February 22nd at Central Penn College to help raise funds for the club. The club will be selling 4 kinds of soup: broccoli and cheddar soup, Italian wedding, white chicken chili, and Maryland crab. Soup costs $4 with the Maryland crab costing $5. All soup orders will be pre-orders and must be submitted via email to Paul Miller. Orders will be delivered by students of the club on February 22nd. The Media Club has often had remarkable success hosting food fundraisers in the past, the last being their whoopie pie fundraiser during the fall term. Professor Miller, the club's co-advisor, said, quote, "Our most recent whoopie pie fundraiser was one of the best fundraising efforts we have ever had as a club. People seem to love food sales, and our annual soup sale has been legendary at the college," end quote. The profits made from the fundraiser are used in numerous ways by the club. Things such as podcast studio equipment, hosting club events, field trips related to the club, and other needs that arise are funded by the profits made. To place a pre-order, contact Miller at paulmiller@centralpenn.edu. This has been Nightly News reporter Alexa Sugart with a news brief.
This is Nightly News reporter Brian Davis with a news brief. Janet Bixler, director of the First Year Experience, is hosting Central Penn College's 3rd quarterly Meet and Greet with Eats, April 7th at 4:30 p.m. at the Conference Center at Central Penn College. This event will be held on the first week of the start of the spring term, and all first-term students are encouraged to go. The Meet and Greet with Eats gives these students, whether they are residential, commuters, or online, the opportunity to meet their fellow classmates, faculty, and student staff members. These students will engage in activities that encourage them to interact with everyone. At the Fall 2021 Meet and Greet with Eats, the students completed a student service scavenger hunt. Janet Bixler said, quote, "There will be food, photos, and music to help create a party atmosphere for the new students to enjoy themselves," end quote. This will be going on while the student service and academic programs set up their display to provide information and resources to the newest students. At this event, each new student is gifted with their own event-specific t-shirt, and they are welcome to enter raffles to win a variety of prizes. A big highlight of the Meet and Greet with Eats is that new students receive an official welcome from the college president, Dr. Linda Fedrizzi Williams. These students are also treated by words of wisdom from their fellow current student leaders. If you have any follow-up questions, please contact Bixler at janetbixler@centralpenn.edu. For the Nightly News, I'm Brian Davis.
This is Nightly News reporter Liana Verbos with a news brief. In recent Student Central correspondence, Dr. Linda Fedrizzi Williams stated, quote, "The college is making investments for our students, beginning with expanding the workout room in the underground," end quote. The underground is not only a place for Central Penn students to work out, but it holds a recreation room for students to relax between classes or hang out in their free time. Adrian Thaumann, Dean of Student Engagement at Central Penn, said, quote, "The workout room expansion is going to be a great opportunity to extend what the college offers to students," end quote. The remodel will be beneficial for student athletes who are training for their specific sports. Student athletes are in need of additional equipment to support their training needs. The expansion to the gym will allow for team training sessions. This will also benefit those students who just want to focus on their own health and wellness. The team working on the expansion plan met at the end of January to discuss further details of the project. Chris Sheriff, Facilities Director, will be leading the project. Once the project is underway, students will see offices move around in the underground. According to Sheriff, the gym expansion project team will be working hard to keep the gym accessible during construction. The project team hopes to have the gym expansion completed by the beginning of spring term. The campus will benefit by the underground expanding and help with student development and engagement here at Central Penn. For the Nightly News, I'm Liana Verbos.
This is Nightly News reporter Omaira Martinez-Giral with a news brief. Central Penn College will host the Spring Open House event in the Somerdale campus on March 5th from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. The open house is designed for prospective students and their families, and registration is required. The event includes nightlife fair, what people love about Central Penn presentation, and campus tour. The event will kick off with the nightlife fair, where prospective students can chat one-on-one with faculty and student services staff while they are checking in and grabbing a snack or coffee. According to senior event planner Derek Weisself, a new addition is the alumni panel with more recent Central Penn College graduates. This will help the prospective students visualize life after college. The college admission team will welcome the prospective student and their family to discuss details about the college and admission requirements. A financial aid coordinator will review the financial aid process and provide general tips and suggested timelines before enrolling. There will not be any live streaming for the Spring Open House. On February 16 at 3 p.m., Central Penn College is hosting a virtual enrollment event called College and Conversation. It is done entirely on Zoom meeting and include a presentation about the college financial aid, a short virtual tour, and a fun Valentine's Day themed game in the end. Wassell said, quote, I would encourage anyone unable or uncomfortable with visiting the campus in person on March 5th for the Spring Open House to sign up for that event. End of quote. The Spring Open House will provide prospective students with a fantastic sense of whether it is the right fit. You will live with an understanding of what makes the college unique and how it can get you to become your future self. What some say, quote, they should prepare to make Central Penn College their top choice for their college education, end of quote. As you prepare to attend the event, please remember that the college is currently requiring everyone to wear a mask when not socially distant or eating. If you are feeling ill on the day of the event, please do not come to campus. If you have any question about the Spring Open House, please email Derek Westsoft and centralpenn.edu. For the Nightly News, I'm Omara Martinez-Girao.
This is the Nightly News reporter Aaron Harrison with the News Brief. Central Penn College Student Government Association will be hosting a talent show on January 24th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Capitol Blue Cross Theater. This event will be open to all musicians, singers, dancers, rappers, actors, comedians, musicians, etc. There will be free refreshments available for those that come. Quote, we hope the evening will be a great opportunity to showcase the awesome talent we have here at Central Penn. End quote, said Adrian Tomon, Dean of Student Engagement from Central Penn. According to SGA President Aaron Christiana, there will be 4 judges for the event, and the theater will be set up to host a crowd of spectators. DJ Matrix has been booked for the event. SGA is working with the Night and Day CAF for catering. The talent acts will perform on the stage in front of the judges, and in conclusion of the event, the judges will decide on the winner, and they will receive a prize on behalf of the SGA. It will be a free event for students. Students can bring up to 2 guests. This event will be great for those who would like to have a nice time enjoying the talent of others with laughs and applauses on the night from the students and faculty. This specific event has been recommended to the student government by numerous on-campus and commuter students. For more information on this event, contact Adrian Thoman at adrianthoman@centralpenn.edu. From the Nightly News, I'm Aaron Harrison.
This is Nightly News reporter Dalton Kohler with a news brief. The Central Penn College baseball team is holding their second pulled pork fundraiser of the school year on February 4th from noon to 4 p.m. in the multipurpose room in Bollinger Hall. The team made a great profit with the last fundraiser they held, and all the proceeds will be going to the baseball team to pay for team equipment and transportation during the season. The food will be prepared by the team's head coach, Robert Stern. He is a well-acclaimed barbecue chef on campus, and anyone who has tried Stern's cooking, and specifically his pulled pork, will tell you that it is some of the best pulled pork you'll ever have in your life. The menu consists of 2 different options. You can buy a sandwich for $8, and a dinner meal can be bought for $12, which includes 2 sides along with the pulled pork and roll. The 2 sides are mac and cheese and green beans. Pre-orders will be available, although a time for when they will start being sold is undecided. Knight's third baseman Kevon Davis said, quote, I'm looking forward to eating Coach Stern's pulled pork. It really impressed me, end quote. If you have any further questions about the fundraiser, you can contact Coach Stern at robertstern@centralpenn.edu. For the Nightly News, I'm Dalton Kohler.
Hello, Central Penn. This is Nightly News reporter Dylan Bowman with an exclusive brief. Central Penn College will be hosting their quarterly CPC film series at 6:30 p.m. on January 28th with Program Director of the Criminal Justice and Homeland Security Department, Jonna Whitcraft, presenting Olympus Has Fallen. The 2013 film will be presented at the Capitol Blue Cross Theater on campus as a continuation of the CPC film series. The film series, which began in January 2018, has gathered much attention from students and staff alike, entertaining large crowds in past terms. When asked about why she chose this film in particular, Whitcraft explained the reasoning behind her choice. Quote, I was going between this movie and Tombstone, my all-time favorite. I think Olympus Has Fallen is very interesting. I just love the way Gerard Butler plays the main character, and I love that this isn't how Secret Service agents act in real life, end quote. Jonna Whitcraft continued by saying, quote, I think the idea that if something bad happens, there's this person who can just come out and fix everything. But he's not a superhero. He's just an ordinary guy, end quote. Refreshments will be provided at the event by the Night Patrol Club, who will be selling candy, popcorn, and soda to further fund their club initiatives. The CPC film series will return in the spring with Nightly News President Janelle Dulac as the presenter. For more information on the Central Penn film series or the upcoming film, visit cpcnightlynews.com or contact Professor Miller at paulmiller@centralpenn.edu. For the Nightly News, I'm Dylan Bowman.